Hello, hello. Welcome to Healthy Perspectives, a podcast that takes on current cultural and social issues through a clinical lens. Hello, hello. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we appreciate your time. For those of you who are brand new, this is we got this hard-hitting series, Lies. Today is going to be just like the last few, only totally different topic. Today we're talking about marriage, people. Marriage. And there are many lies that our culture teaches us about marriage. So I'm going to address 5 of them. I could probably go on and on and on. I could probably do an entire series just on marriage and the marriage lies and communication within marriage and sex within marriage and what it means to divorce and all of these things. But today we're just going to hit some of those lies that are taught that some of you, if not most of you, have believed. So your tip of the day today is sometimes the best things can be really hard things. Yep. Sometimes the best things can be really hard things. So without further ado, let's get right after it. Lie number 1, marriage is just another transaction. And you should try to win it. I added that last part after the fact because let's be real, transactions, when we are being transactional, the whole goal there is to get what we want. And sometimes the way to get what we want is to give others something that they want. Great. Got it. Good. Awesome. But at the end of the day, all we truly care about is getting what we want from a transaction. And the answer to that lie is nope. Absolutely not. Marriage is not just another transaction. Marriages that work, I'll clarify. Marriages that work are marriages where it's love first, and that's not negotiable, and transactions second. Meaning transactions are put in their place. Yes, transactions exist within a marriage, but they never supersede the love, the commitment that we have for our person. And when they do, we are transactional and it will fail. If you've followed me for any length of time, you've heard me talk about the 50-50 in a marriage. This is where that fits. No, there is no 50-50 in marriage. That is a transactional approach to marriage. I'll put in my 50, you put in your 50. Well, what happens when somebody's sick and it's not working? They can't put in their 50. Well, sucks for you, but I'm only going to put in my 50. That's not a marriage. That's a transaction. It's a deal, which is a low level of moral development. Marriage is 100-100. It's the only way in which a marriage survives because sometimes the best things can be really hard. And if a marriage is going to survive, it will inevitably go through hard things. And yet it is still one of the best things. So the 100-100 is a servant approach. It is I am putting you, the person, before this issue. And there's nothing easy about 100-100 because there's going to be a day where your wife or your husband doesn't show up for you. And you're going to have to still show up for them. And it's going to suck. It's going to be hard. And you're going to have to do hard things. It's the way it works. All right, lie number 2. This one's interesting because lie number 2 is about lies, but lies, secrets, and deceptions, which if you have followed me for any length of time, you have heard me talk about lies, secrets, and deceptions. But in this case, in a marriage, this is how it goes down oftentimes in a marriage. The lie is lies, secrets, and deceptions are fine if it is protecting your spouse. Nope. It does not work that way. It cannot work that way. Lies, secrets, and deceptions destroy relationships. Period. Full stop. End. When we justify lies, secrets, and deceptions as we are protecting our partner, what we are telling our partner, our spouse, is this: you are weak. And if I don't protect you from truth, you won't make it. You can't do it. You're not capable. And that will always erode a relationship over time. Always. So that's a lie, that you have to keep lies, secrets, and deceptions with your spouse because they're going to overreact. They can't handle it. Nope. Doesn't work like that. Lie number 3. I know I'm fast paced today. All right. Lie number 3. We don't need to filter anything from our spouse. In other words, there are no boundaries with your spouse. Nope. You should absolutely have boundaries. You, me, all of us should have a no, not ever list. We should have, hey, these things happen. I'm going to have no choice but to love you from a distance because I am not doing that. You cheat on me, we're done. You try to kill me, we're done. Like there's a no, not ever list, and you should have that, and your spouse should have that, and they should be known. They shouldn't be arbitrary. They should be strategic based on safety primarily. And then when I talk about safety, I'm not just talking about your safety, the safety of the relationship. That's why something like cheating on somebody, really, that I could see a scenario where somebody would make that safe, physically safe, but the relationship would be destroyed emotionally and relationally. So the safety is not just physical safety. It's emotional, relational, spiritual, environmental. Could I keep coming into a house where I know you slept with somebody else in our bed? No, couldn't do it. That's a no, not ever. Make sense? All right. Hopefully you're all tracking. We don't filter anything also extends into the thoughts that run through your mind. Not every thought you think needs to be heard and understood by your person. Some of the thoughts you think fall in the realm of privacy. Now, this is where it's different than secrets, lies, deceptions. Private. I'll give you a couple of examples just to get you rolling, but think about this category. This is a tricky category because it puts us right up against that line of secrets, lies, and deceptions. They don't need or probably want every thought that crosses your mind. For instance, walking down the sidewalk, there's a very attractive person walking by. You're like, whoa, she's hot. Your spouse does not need that, does not want that. It will deteriorate your relationship. Your spouse will be saying, well, what about me? I'm right here. Right? There are certain private moments that need to just be let go, not stated. If you walk by and you see somebody and she's very attractive, do not tell your wife she's very attractive. It's rude. And that's a private thought that is a flippant. They come and they go, they disappear within a millisecond. You don't need to verbalize that. Matter of fact, you ought not verbalize that. Another example. You're going to have a moment in your relationship. You're going to think, why in the world did I pick you? You put that seed of doubt in your relationship, and you are causing possibly some irreparable harm to your relationship. It's a private thought. It's a momentary thought. It is not a long lasting thought. Look, if it's a long lasting thought, then you got to address it. But if it's a flippant thought of like, he's really on my nerves right now. He did something really stupid. He told me a thought that he shouldn't have told me. And you manifest this, why did I pick this guy? That is not something you tell him. There's no need. It is a fleeting thought. It's going to disappear and be gone for good. And that may happen, I don't know, once every couple of years in a relationship. It's a fleeting thought. If it's happening every week, we have a problem. You need to address the problem. But if it's something like that that just comes up every couple of years, it's just poof, and then poof, it's gone. Like, great. You don't need to say it. It's like, if you leave the room to pass gas, you don't really need to come back and announce, I left the room because I wanted to pass some gas. Just go do it, return. It's simple. It's privacy. That's a private, momentary thought. No big deal. Move on. Okay. Lie number 4. I love it when we get this one primarily with people who are relatively newly married, but it is an impactful one. Sex will be perfect once we're married. Uh, nope. Here, I'll give it to you, young, old, it doesn't matter. This will absolutely hit home. Okay. As you age, you will get wrinkles. You will get, your muscles will change. You'll get stronger, weaker. Your body shape will adjust, especially after you have children. It just happens. It is what it is. For those of us who are getting a little older, we see the beauty in the change. But when we're young, we think, oh my gosh, this is bad. My body's changing. True. That's going to happen. It's going to happen to you. It happens to me. It happens to everybody. Some people do that gracefully. They just accept that the change is occurring. Some people fight it really, really hard. Now if you ask me at least, there is a beauty behind accepting it gracefully that I have learned to appreciate. When you get white in your hair or gray or silver, just go with it. When you get a little bit weaker, hey, keep working out, but just understand you're getting older. It's part of the deal. Well, it's no different with sex. Your body is going to change. Things that you used to like, you might not like anymore. Things that you used to think, wow, that's weird. I don't want to do anything like that. You may be like, oh my gosh, that kind of felt kind of good. Maybe I kind of like that. So be open to that. But the lie is sex will be perfect. No, you are going to constantly have to learn who your spouse is now, because the difference between, say, 20 and 30 is massive in the bedroom. Between 30 and 40, it changes again. By the time you're 50, you're trying not to get leg cramps and weird stuff going on. Like it's just different, and you have to do things different because of it. That's just part of the fun. That's part of the adventure. So enjoy it. Okay. Lie number 5. This is my final lie I'm going to cover for today. Divorce will solve it. I'm not laughing at you if you've thought of divorce, but here's the deal. I'm laughing at the concept. All right. First of all, that is a massive lie. And let me explain to you why. If you get a divorce, Do you know what you take with you? You're like, yeah, 50% of everything, including 50% of the reason it failed. You take that with you. Where you go, so does your dysfunction. So if you think you can escape the dysfunction, you're taking 50% of it with you. That's not going to work out well for you. Most people I know who have been through a divorce, they may get to the other side and they may be like, oh my gosh, I am grateful that I went through with that divorce because my dysfunction and their dysfunction was terrible together. Okay. I get that. That happens sometimes. All right. But don't be mistaken. You will walk away with your dysfunction. And when you enter the next relationship, it will still be there. You cannot escape it. What you can do is transform it. But if you're going to transform your dysfunction, why do you have to get divorced to do it? See, that's where people don't understand this. If I'm going to change me anyway, why don't I stay here and change me with you? And if you're going to change anyway, why don't you stay here and change with me? And most of the time, we can find that common ground and less toxicity in our relationship. Now, what I would say, the caveat here is if one person is willing to grow, change, manifest, transform, and the other is unwilling to transform, then Christ is in one and not in the other. Now, that's a call you have to make. I don't make that because I'm not a good judge. All right. But that's a call you would have to make. If Christ is not in them, then you probably should think about doing something different. But do your diligence. You got to make darn sure that that is the truth. Okay, I'm actually going to caveat because this happened. I didn't expect this in my brain to occur. But let's give you a bonus, a sixth lie that marriage can work without God. Now, for those of you who are secular, who no, that's fine. Just fast forward through this. I'm not here to push my agenda on anybody, but I am here to speak truth, and this is part of the truth. In a world where we have absolute morality, not relative morality, we have to acknowledge that there is a God. Okay. So if you're there, stay with me. In a marriage without God, there will be moments you do not survive that come at you. You just won't survive it. It will destroy your insides. It will turn you into somebody that you should not be. When God is in the marriage, it becomes possible because you will need in a marriage these little miracles from time to time. This change of heart, this change of mind, this transformation away from one way and into another way of being. You will need that, and so will your spouse. And if you don't have God there to create those little miracles that are necessary, it's not going to work. It's not a marriage. You know, that doesn't mean you can't put it off as though it's a marriage and make it look like it's a marriage to the outside world. You could do that for a long time, maybe even much of your or all of your life. And at the end of the day, you will have navigated transactionally through it. And that's a different experience, which we talked about a little bit earlier. Look, I didn't expect to give you that little bonus segment, but just stay with it. If any of these don't hit home as true to you, do me a favor. Send me a note. I want to hear from you. If they all hit hard, send me a note. Look, I would love to get more community interaction. I get some, don't get me wrong, but I'd love for you all to start finding each other through this dialogue, through these things. I'm the most active on Twitter. I'm also active on other forums, or Twitter, X. Sheesh. Okay. But find me, email me. You can connect in these other areas to the people who are listening to this stuff and have conversation. You can also often do it through the different platforms like YouTube or Rumble or whatever else it's on. I think they even have chatting options on Spotify now. I've never used them, but I probably should look into that because maybe others are and I'm missing it. But share it with friends too. And have that dialogue. I don't even care if you have it with me. Have it with your friends. Have it with your family. Have it with people in your church. Have it with people that you know at work. Have these conversations and we will all win. Again, we are here to try to help. That's it. Please like, subscribe, do all those things. And I hope you have a wonderful holiday. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. We appreciate our audience a lot, so we give you some simple ways to track us down. Please like, subscribe, and follow all the podcasts on different platforms, but you can also email us at healthyperspectives@protonmail.com, or you can check out our website at healthy-perspectives.com/podcast. It's a backward slash. So if you want to go to our landing page, if you go to healthy-perspectives.com, you'll still find us. You just got to click on the podcast button. Thank you so much.